Hey there, Boots Owen here. This is an interesting one, I think. A Samsung digital inverter, 9 kilo. Let's find a number on it somewhere, probably around the back. I've already seen the top of it. Washing machine, there we go. A model WD90 K5B 10OX. It's a big one. It's big. It's really deep. It's over 2 foot deep, I'd say. 600 and something millimeters. I've taken the top off it. I've got a date in there, 2018-11-26. If you can see that, 2018-11. So that's 2018, 2005 right now. 2018 again. That makes it 7 years old. 2018-11. So it's 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's 6 years old and some change. It's really big. It should be live now. I've plugged it in. It's a washer dryer, which, you know, I'm not too hot on them, but I wanted to see what it was really. I've got a Samsung washer, I've got a Samsung dryer, so I thought I'd get one of these and have a go at it. I was looking in the back, and it's got a pancake motor on the back, a direct drive inverter affair. So it should be live now. Let's try this button. That's the noise we want to hear. Right, let's close. It's got an ad wash door on it, which is a bit of a pain really, if you ask me, but yeah, it's been leaking a little bit there, but what are you going to do? Looks like the door's hanging on it because it's a bit ground out there. I think it was in a rental apartment. It's missing its little door off the bottom there. In fact, I better check this down the bottom here. Yeah, it's been drained out. Looks clear, no money, unfortunately. It's a bit dirty, really. It only goes that far. So if I could put it on a spin. Is there just a plain spin? I don't think so. Yeah, that's no good. Just want a spin. Let's try what? Rinse and spin. Okay, turn off the rinses. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Might just spin now. 1400. Might fail. It's flashing. Anybody? Yeah. Can't really see in. Just have to have a look at the back. It's very quiet, of course. So I can hear a pump running. That's stopped now. This pancake should start turning. That's what we're hoping for. Pump's on again. Some cables there that aren't connected to anything. – 14 minutes. I think it should be turning by now. It's not great, although there should be a 10-year warranty on that inverter. Of course, this was found. Oh, there it is. It's turning. This was found in a block of flats beside the dustbin. The fellow who found it put it up on eBay, and I made him a very low offer. He was very generous, or very accepting of the fact that it's down to 12 minutes. Probably knows there's nothing in it. It's turning the other way now. Sounds lovely. Might be onto a winner here. He'd found it, put it on eBay, left it by the dustbin, which I thought was kind of cool, and went for selling it. Now it's had something written on it there. That's gone. Could have been a price if it was sold second hand. Overall, visually, apart from that thing, and I have the lid, it's just over there. Oh, this is very quiet. Visually, it's very clean, so he just left it beside the bins and put it on eBay, and a few days later, I made him an offer. Went to collect it. Bargain. If it works, but it's a bit of a punt. And what have we checked so far? The pump seems to work. See it just vibrating there. Not even. It's very good. It's not even vibrating much. I can see it barely, just that silver line there, barely wobbling because it's got that smoked door. Is that a crack? Something kind of weird line there on the plastic. Yeah, it looks cracked. I'm not too worried about that. I know the doors on these cost a fortune because they've got 3 interlock, or well, there's an interlock in the flap and there's an interlock in there and there's a whole wiring loom in the door. Crazy. This could just be working. Sometimes they have an issue where the dryer thing doesn't work. I'm not overly worried about that really. The dryer is not a feature of this that I'm going to use. If I bring it inside, what caught my eye was the 9 kilo part of the washing machine. Speeding up even more. Can you see that shaking ever so slightly? There you go, it's doing a little shimmy. This could be alright, this. Samsung. Oh, it's making a bit of noise. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. So it's a 6-7 year old machine. I don't really understand how the drying thing works. I guess you've got to pick a drying cycle and let it go. It's a bit lumpy. It seems to be well balanced on the ground. I gave it a spin just to try the bearings on it, and it felt okay, but it could be that they're knackered. It's hitting off something down there. Does it have a loose ballast maybe? I can check that. It appears to have a splittable tub. I wonder if that ballast is loose. 8 minutes to go. Yeah, that could give me the willies. Yeah, it looks like the front ballast is loose. In fact, I'm gonna abort that. I don't want to get into this if the ballast is loose. Let's plug it out. Doors clicked. Plug that out. That looks razor sharp, of course, the way they make these things. Now there's capacitors in here and all that kind of stuff. I think that ballast is loose on the front of this, and if that's the repair, it's not the end of the world. So I'll have to take the top off it here. I might just be able to, probably gonna have to take that front off it, door seal, door, and whatnot. It's not the end of the world. I might go for that. Right, let's get stuck in. Well, let's see how we get on here then. Take that out. In here. One gone. Uh-oh. Looks like concrete. Well, that's even worse than we thought. Okay. Maybe it is a bad job. So that's come loose, but it hasn't. Oh, it has. It's damaged that hose. So that's going to make it leak. That's no good. No good at all. right. So I have to make up something maybe, or try to figure this one out. It's broken there, loose up on top, that's what I heard. We've got a hose here that's loose and damaged. We've got a screw there on top of the pump. Pump doesn't look to be damaged. There's a trap door underneath in there. I wonder what that's about. You might know. See it there? Trap door for something. So yeah, there's a cut in this pipe here. I guess it is damaged, you know. We could get some part numbers and things and try and see. It's a good thing I didn't put water in it. I guess. I don't know what that hose is for. Some kind of a pressure relief affair. So that mount is damaged. This one's okay. Top one's loose. I wonder if that mount from here was over tightened or something and that caused it to fail. Hard to know. Yeah, so I wouldn't have great faith if this nut is broken, then you're putting all your load onto the other two, and that might, you know, wreck it. But equally, it might be possible, like I can get the weight of that, it might be possible to just get a piece of steel which will be, you know, denser, so heavier for the area, and just drill 2 holes in it, cut it, or even just weld a couple of pieces of flat together. We just need to get that mass into it, especially at the bottom here where it's failed. So I've put quite a bit of tape on there, overlapping it each time. It's a kind of a self-vulcanizing rubber tape, and my concern now is that I think I've sealed the crack probably, or the cut, and the hose clip will hold the end on tight, but it's like putting elastic bands around something again and again. Each time you do it, it loads it up even more. So while it looks about right on the outside, there's a lot of tape on there, and the hole in the inside, which you can't really see very well, the hole on the inside there is smaller than it was. Like it did take my finger around the corner before, as on this end, but now it won't. Now I'm sure I could wrangle with it to get it in there, but I'd just be kind of cautious that it'll collapse. So really, do I want to undo that, waste the tape, and put in something like a little piece of plastic just to hold it open? I don't know. I'll see how it goes, because I have a feeling this isn't a drain. I think it's just a breather, so as long as it doesn't collapse entirely, it'll be okay. And I think if you can get a purchase on it, although it does vulcanize quite efficiently there. Like that's, you stretch it and then it pretty much just binds to itself quite comfortably. So I did like a half over each time and started it and went down. I started here, tested it a bit, came up, came back, came up, came back. So like it still has reasonable flow, but, and I can always buy one. They're, a second-hand one's about 10 quid, so it's not the end of the world if you need to buy one. It might be very tight now. Might be okay. Might not go on at all. Might go either way. It's the wrong way around. Maybe I'm doing the wrong way around. Yeah, that one might be on there. That one seems to like going on like that. That'll do. And get it to snap on. That clip down. I don't really remember which way around these were meant to go. I could use silicone slider sealant, silicone lubricant as well, but I have to get up to get it. Now, there isn't really a place. Oh, it is. It's over there. Yeah, I think this might be the right way to go. Okay. I've made it so fat it's hard to push on. Just need to overextend the clip. I wonder if that's even possible. Must be. It must be. Stretch it way beyond its comfort zone. Come on. I can get it on like that, so I just need to either I might get a bigger clip. Would that be a better idea? Like, there's a weak point there, but it's a repair. It's for me. I'm not going to sell this. Couldn't in good conscience sell it. And what I was thinking was to make up something like a plate of metal, similar C shape. I won't rub on it or anything, and then glue it on with construction adhesive, maybe. I don't know. Not too much thought. Right. This guy here. Could I put the clip on the other side? Nope. I think it just needs a bit of brute force, you know. Clip's stressed out to the max. I think a different clip might be the answer. That's it now. No lip for it to sit over, which is a bit weird. Right, I suspect that's plenty tight. So we should have a watertight seal from the base now, which was the concern. There's nothing in there, that's okay. Filter hose, sump hose feels okay. Should do. Yeah, if we could get a ballast on it, even without a ballast, it should still work.
Very good. It's pretty rough and ready. So a number of days have passed and I'm at the putting it back together phase. I've taken this out to clean it because I thought it was a bit grotty. And if I'm going to use it at all for myself, I'd rather it would be clean. So to get this bit off, well, start by taking this bit off the bottom. It just has snaps all around, 6 of them all around the outside. The clips, they're a bit brittle, so you got to watch out for that. To get these 3 or this 1 unit out of the center is a bit tricky, but just take your time. It pops out. It has a kind of a interesting pattern to guide the water into the different jet holes. Pretty cool. And then this one should go on like this. There we go. Just snaps on. I'll give that a dry and I'll refit it. There's nothing much in taking it out, it's just a couple of screws and hoses. So this should wiggle into position, I think. That tab there has to align with this slot here. And then there's a screw on top which has been stripped, of course. There's a little rubber thing here that goes into a slot. And then because it's a bit damp, these should just go straight back on. But there's a hole here. The screw, you can see the plastic is completely wound around the thread of the screw. So putting it in is kind of pointless, but also here I am. It's just going to spin. I think there's other screws above or something that'll hold it on as well. There's 4 hoses on it. One's beneath, which is a bit trickier to get to. This one. Okay, now we're going to lie the machine back. It's all a bit sharp, so just watch yourself when you're working on it. This should just move up by itself, but kind of limited on space here. Maybe I should have done this first, I don't know. I think that's it on. I think that really is all the, oh, it's not on right. There we go. I think that's all there is to it. Right, okay, so the next job is this fellow. I've put it in position and tightened it up just to see how I feel about it, and I'll show you the last bit of welding that I did. It might have been in the picture or not. This screw here really hasn't got much of a purchase, but anything is better than nothing, so I've fitted it the same way. This should lift out. I think it's quite a good fit. I'm quite pleased with how it's come together. There we go. Wiggle up at the top. It's not perfectly built, so it's a bit off, but that's okay. I might vacuum this or wipe it out. So I'm going to put a bit of this stuff on the back of it, mostly because it's the one that I have open in the shed. no point in putting it on the lower bits because they won't make a joint or a seal. And if you ever want to get this off, you're going to be sorry. That's how it is. I'm not going to be shy. So I want it to work as an adhesive, which is what it is. Without sticking it to myself. It's pretty good. So I've got these massive washers with a kind of a bit of gasket or something underneath them that came from another washing machine a long time ago. I wonder, I can't really see the point in putting more in there. I'll regret it later when you tell me in the comments that I should have. The gasket should give it a bit of cushioning, that's where I was going with that half statement. You could let it go off halfway, I guess, and then nip it up and squeeze the last bit in after an hour or two, but I just want to be finished with this job, so. Enough. I've given it a bit of a clean around, a little bit. There was kind of concrete dust all over it, and I brought the inside, and I brought the front panel into the house and gave it a clean and a kind of a, more thorough clean than I might have done if it hadn't had a burst ballast. And this one here doesn't really have much to get a purchase on, but I think it's better to have the screw in. Something happening. I'm not going to tighten it any further. The 3 screws over on the other side, they weren't loose, but they weren't perfectly tight either, so there you go. Right, the front has to go on, and yeah, front, then the door seal. I have to click these cables on. This one goes up on top, but this one has to go in here now. It's all quite sharp. It's really annoying. Okay, so it should ride on its plastic dealies, and then you can get the screws in. It has to go into here. I think it just wiggles into position then. Yeah, that's pretty comfortable, is it? No, not on yet. Okay, that's it. So I've laid it over on its back again, and I've stuck the door seal back on. That's the last step of the process. It's not hard, and I've shown that in other videos. And truth be told, I forgot to record it. Let's give it a test. Right, so I'm inside. The power's on. The water is almost on. Now the water's on. Drain hose is in the sink. Let's try turning it on. A good start. Let's go for a rinse and spin again, this time with a rinse, if I can figure that out. 1400 spin, rinse. Let's give it a... Oh, it's slow to react there. Let's give it one rinse and go for it. It should begin by pumping, but of course there's no water in it. There's the pump clicking. I noticed at the pump it had two pumps, if that makes sense. So it must be a recirculating pump or a pump that runs water over to the tumble dryer end of it, the condenser at the back. Right, it's taking on water with a violent bump of the hose. You can't see that, but it's a spring. Water's coming in. Yeah, that's what you want. I can see, I don't know if you can see it. Let's get in here.
if you watch here for a shadow, the machine is rotating, but it's so silent. You can just see a flash of color going across there on the tub. Let's look for a date on that. 2018 11/26. 2018. This is 2025. So 6 years old. Is that what I said before? 7 years old. There really won't be very much to see on this until it starts spinning. So I've got some rags in it which should unbalance it a little bit. A couple of towels and a blanket or a sheet. Not much, just enough to give it something to do. I'll come back when something happens. See that motor turning, and you can see the flashes of colour there on the plastic drum, plastic tub even. It's a lovely silent. These pancake motors, they're just so wonderfully silent. Really good, really cool things, I reckon. You can see the bit, maybe you can see it in there, of the steel sticking up from that new ballast. So after 7 odd minutes, pumping out some wonderfully colourful water, but that could be from the rags, because they were garage rags, quite dirty. So you can hear the pump charging there, and racing. It should just be a matter for it to start spinning. It's shaking a little bit with the load that's in it. Interesting that the motor looks to be wandering a little bit, the outer casing of that motor, but it might just be because the load is unbalanced, or the load unbalances the machine. I'll listen for the spin then. That sounds pretty good. There's noise off it, but it's not like it was. It does sound like it's coming from down here though, where I've done the work. Could something be rubbing? I guess it could. Not up to speed yet. It might not be. Yeah, it might not be fully level on the ground as well. So maybe that's cured that. 3 minutes. Be done this cycle. So you could argue that that little tune is the sound of success. Right, what do I think? Bit of moisture here. I'm not a big fan of those ad wash doors. I do believe they leak. Now, I don't know what might have leaked on here. It could be just that door seal is a bit grotty. Not door seal, the door itself has fluff on it. I think that could be the issue. So I'll give that a clean and a wipe. But it could also be that this little fellow here is wet. It's just a silly design, like a completely unnecessary part of the machine, really. But, well, I've repaired one in a previous video if you want to see how many crazy parts there are going together to make one. Right, I put a bit of soap in it. I'll do a proper wash. What I was more worried about was that there'd be moisture down at the bottom there that was unexplained, and it looks like it's come off the door. Could be that the way it's lying, because the door maybe is a bit
a bit loose. Check that now. I think there's wires in here to be mindful of. Can I twist it at all? Not really. Put a bit of a twist on it before I tighten it up. Maybe it'll sit better. Don't know. It's a very heavy door because of all of the extra equipment. A little bit of soap. I gave this drawer a wash inside, so it's a lot cleaner than it was when I got it. It wasn't that bad, but it was a bit grotty, soapy. Now let's try this. Oh, cotton. Cotton, 60. 3 rinses, high spin. It's going to be a while. Sometimes it comes down. I have a Samsung machine in the house. Sometimes they analyze the load, and given that it's been rinsed already, it might do it a bit faster. I don't know. Not going to hold out on that. Once it's finished, I'll try the dryer, and then we'll have this video wrapped up. Not sure how much of this is worth watching. Maybe if it does something crazy, I'll record it, but for now, yeah, it's analyzing. What was it, 226? That could take, the analysis could take a few minutes as well. Might be off to a winner with this one. One point to note was, it's 600mm wide, or 595 standard machine width. It's deeper than that from the front of the door to the back of the back. It wouldn't fit sideways through my garage door, the door into my garage. It wouldn't fit, so that's how I got this little scrape on it, because I tend to lead with oh, it's analyzed to the full time. I tend to just lead on these things that got stuck, and I had to back it out, and that's where we are. Right, I'll come back at the end and we'll see if it does drying, although there won't be much to see in that either. So it's been on about an hour or more. That's getting nice and warm. There doesn't seem to be an error. There's no puddles under it. That was the other issue, was the hose underneath could have been an issue. There's no puddles under it, so that's a win. So I've just got to wait. We'll try this dryer. So it's not at the fast spin, but it's down to the last rinse now. I don't know if this is the end of the rinse or if it's going on to the spin. It's not that it's hitting off anything, it's just that there's a vibration rattling somewhere, spring or something. It's no louder than any other machine. I'm just picking on it. Let's put the top on it. In fact, it seems to be over this side. It could be a loose thing in the bottom. Quiet enough. I think this will do quite well in my cellar. So we're on the final, maybe we're not on the final rinse, I don't know. Let's see what it does next. Yeah, I think we're taking on the last bit of water. A machine like this that I've repaired like that, with tape on a pipe and homemade ballast on it, I would never sell that. I've said before in the channel, I'm not a washing machine repairman and I'm not a washing machine salesman. I don't sell second-hand machines typically. I prefer to give them away to friends and people who know that they got them from me, and who have very low expectations on, you know, price, particularly when the price is zero. But I've repaired machines for friends, and you know, when people trust you, that's all right. But if you're selling something to someone you don't know, you're just opening a can of worms, and it's not about money. What's this thing worth? I paid 25, 35 for it, something like that. Now, admittedly, I wouldn't have done that unless I thought I could make a video, and a video might or might not make money. If I ever get the 35 quid back, I'd be surprised. But also, I enjoy making a repair like this to a machine. Something that costs no money, something that I've got a bit of sauce left over to stick it on, I've got a bit of steel left over to chop it up. The welder was found in a skip in a previous video. I did a video about treasures found in a skip a few months back. You know, that's the kind of level I'm operating at. and keeping something that was otherwise going to be scrapped, keeping it working. That's where I like to be. Right, we'll come back and see about this dryer. So there's a noise, but you can't hear any motor noise. So that kind of ticking is just not a big deal. Let's see. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't know what it's from. It's not necessarily from the ballast I've put in. It's just a ticking. It could be a rubber hose slapping or something like that. I've got the top on it for now. I'm very happy with how this has worked out. Let's just take a look. It's as noisy from the back as it is from anywhere else. See my hand shaking. There's a lot of vibration in it because the towels probably have it set flat. You can't see in the door, so it's no good looking. I'm pretty pleased with that, really, gotta say. Might get a bit higher in a minute. We'll check in 2 minutes. So I'd say that's about the end of that. There were some little bits of sand in the wash water and stuff, but nothing major. Nothing that you wouldn't expect from workshop rags, and maybe some snots out of the waste pipe. Right, this will finish up and play a tune, and we'll move on. So, laundry is all in there. Let's just agitate it a little bit so that it can tumble. There's not much laundry in it, so I'm not too worried about it being over 6 kilos. That door is a bit wonky. Now, air wash, I don't really get this, but oh, cotton dry, that's what I want. 5 hours, wow. Really? 5 hours. I'm never using this. This is insane. 5 hours. What? That's mental. Do you think it's going to come back with 5 hours when it analyzes it now? 5 hours. It'll be tomorrow before we're done. That's not quite true. It's just after lunchtime. 2 hours, that's more like it. Okay, so it takes on a bit of water, it'll do some heating. This thing. Yeah, I can hear that fan starting and I can see the tub spinning. We might be onto a winner. We'll have a look at it in a bit. I can feel the heat off that just putting my hand near it, so it looks like it's working. It's 2 hours. I'll give it the 2 hours and see what happens, but sometimes the time goes up on these. I don't know how it senses the moisture, but maybe it has some kind of a detector. I don't know, actually. It's just lovely and quiet as a machine goes, isn't it? So it's blowing hot air from the back down the front of the machine, agitating it, agitating the laundry, and then the air's coming back out. Oops, I'm leaning on the machine. The air's coming back out there and going through, I think it's typically a cascade of drips coming off this hose here, and that catches any lint and any moisture because it's colder than the hot air, and that condenses out, and then periodically that's pumped out. Now I don't know if it's doing that on a rotating cycle where it'll run the hot air for 5 minutes and then do a minute of, you know, no hot air and cold air falling once the laundry's dried. So I don't know if that's happening or if it starts and stops or what, but it seems like it's working. Right. Seems like it's working. This won't be particularly interesting, this phase. I think with a lot of these machines, the washing machine's the one that gets all the work and the dryer doesn't. And sometimes I've seen them in the past, maybe on an Indesit or something. The dryer fails, but it takes the machine out because the circuit board knows that the dryer has failed. I think I've seen that in the past. either the fan won't stop running because it senses a fault, so it keeps blowing air to keep it cool, or something like that. Maybe I'm talking nonsense here. I'm happy with this machine though. Right, I'll come back at the end maybe, see if the laundry's dry. It's been, well, I don't know, an hour and a half at least, but I'd say probably longer on the tumble phase. Now it's draining out quite a bit. That water's tepid. It's not freezing. It's not hot. I guess another 24 minutes and we'll see, but I think it's going to take longer. So for one reason or another, I didn't catch the end of this wash, but let's take a look at it. Okay, we've got a layer of lint in here, which is a bit weird. Like, it's just where it must build up, you see that? But the stuff, well, yeah, it's dry. It's as dry as other places would be. So it's quite dry. The towels are dry. You know, it's as good as it's going to get. What? So that's about as good as it's going to get, I reckon. If you've got any questions or comments, stick them below. If you like this video, please show your appreciation the usual way. If you like videos like this, think about subscribing or becoming a member of the channel. If you're subscribing, think about hitting the bell icon. If you're becoming a member, I'd appreciate it. There's a few different tiers of membership, and members get to see the videos. And members get to see the video. Shush. And members get to see the videos before everybody else. So there you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.